Hi everybody, this is Dino Chris from Prehistoric Facts, and this is the first Prehistoric Facts episode of 2015. So, Happy New Year to everybody out there, and also hope everybody actually had a great holiday, had the best time in the holidays, and hopefully everybody actually had a really good time of spending time with their families and friends and all that. So, let's actually get the New Year started with a special episode today, and so we're actually going to be talking about a small dinosaur called Scipionyx. And Scipionyx in Greek is Scipio's claw, but even though it could be pronounced Scipionyx or Scipionyx, I like to say Scipionyx because it sounds more fun that way. Found basically in southern Europe, mainly in the eastern part of Europe, mainly Romania, and basically Middle Cretaceous of around 110 million years ago, approximately 6 feet long, probably weighed between 50 to 75 pounds, and it's a small dinosaur, so it would actually be eating insects and some small reptiles. And Scipionyx is a very small dinosaur, and you see it's one of the first dinosaurs to actually is nearly complete, and it's one of those dinosaurs that has been discovered with CT scanning and X-rays showing that the internal organs of this dinosaur have been fossilized, which is incredible, and that actually is good indication of what these internal organs might have been in some dinosaurs. Theropods would have actually had internal organs that are similar to birds, but even though they did probably share some reptilian features in terms of their internal organs, but we still don't know what their heart might have been. But even though that's still the question of debate on whether or not dinosaurs are actually warm-blooded or cold-blooded. But even though some scientists say they're probably in between, warm-blooded and cold-blooded, like some fish and some like one amphibian, if I remember correctly, and you see, I have a problem with that debate, and I have a problem with that conclusion. Is that how do we know? That is really the main question here. Is how do we know that? That is really the good question. I'd say theropods are more warm-blooded, considering that they had a very active rate in terms of their how they moved, and also how they might have try to catch their prey, because since that they're very highly active animals, so I'd say they're warm-blooded just like the birds. And I would say the sauropods would probably be that endothermic kind of metabolism, kind of like in between warm-blooded and cold-blooded, considering that you would actually have to, because since that sauropods are so big and all that, but since that's another topic of discussion. But in terms of Scipionyx, but even though I would say that this dinosaur is considered to be a small dinosaur. It's still up for debate whether or not this is actually an adult dinosaur or juvenile. So that debate is still going on. But whether or not Scipionyx is actually kind of one of those dinosaurs that could be a juvenile species of a dinosaur that we already discovered or hasn't been discovered yet. So we still have to find out. But even if it is an adult, that the specimen that I know of, I would actually say that it probably would have been very highly active. So it would actually be hunting those insects and some small reptiles. And considering that the environment it probably lived in Eastern Europe, it was basically, Europe at that time was full of scattered islands. There's a bunch of seaways in between those islands. So it would actually be very interesting what some of those dinosaurs probably might have looked like on some of those smaller islands, considering that the smaller island dinosaurs that we actually have, the smaller dinosaurs of basically the adult dinosaurs that are probably on the mainland, that we actually find in some places like in Romania, we see that some of these dinosaurs shrunk. Basically, it's because if you're on a smaller island, if you're on a small island, basically not as big as, like, say, Australia or like Tasmania or like Madagascar, Like say, if you're on a small island, like say, let's take the small island of Maui in the state of Hawaii. You see, if you actually put let's say if you put an elephant on that island, would it actually survive in that kind of environment? I would say no, considering that you have to reduce your size in order to actually take the quantities, amount of food that you need to support that large body. And so you would need to reduce your size so you would actually be able to survive much longer in that kind of environment, a small island type of environment. But what I would actually say, since that Scipionyx was living in a time when some islands were still connected to another islands, basically land bridges and all that. So Europe would have actually started to see many seaways. But even though probably Scipionyx was on a large main island of Europe, and basically I would say that it probably was one of those small dinosaurs that just couldn't compete with the larger dinosaurs that actually were basically on that island. Because since that some iguanodonts would actually been very dominant in Europe at that time, and smaller titanosaurs would have actually roamed those kinds of areas as well. But I would say that it's probably what it mostly would look like. I mean, there would probably be some Megalosaurus that were still roaming around Europe. So those would actually been kind of common in around Scipionyx, and so couldn't compete with larger predators, and also couldn't actually attack some of the larger dinosaurs. So basically, would not actually have needed that kind of ability to actually do that. Where are places on the family tree? I don't really know. I haven't looked at where Scipionyx actually kind of fits in the family tree. I would actually say it's a Coelurosaur, if I remember correctly. I think it might be similar to Compsognathus, in my opinion, because since it does have some of the same features as Compsognathus, but even though I really don't know, I need to look at more pictures of the specimen and kind of see whether or not where it does actually fit in the family tree. I think it's a Coelurosaur, so it might be a beginning stage of a Coelurosaur, but I'm still not sure. So if any of you actually give me the answer for that, that'll be great. Like, show me a family tree of where Scipionyx actually fits, because I think it might be a Coelurosaur. So hopefully you can help me out on that. And of course, with Scipionyx, it probably didn't last long in terms of how many years it actually lived. It only lived 110 million years ago, so it might have actually stuck around for a couple million years, but I mean, we still don't know yet. But I would actually say that, considering that the seaways were expanding during the Cretaceous, since that sea levels were rising, and so it would actually be very difficult for animals like Scipionyx to actually live in those kinds of conditions where the seaways just basically flood the lowlands. And then you actually just don't have the food that you need to survive, and also your territory is gone. So where are you going to live? You know, that's always a question. That's always a big question. And basically new predators came in and all that. So that's basically how it is. But basically, the rising seaways actually probably caused the extinction. It's basically changing environments is basically what I'm saying. All right, that's for now, and also just to let you know, next week we'll be an answering questions episode. So if you got a question about dinosaurs or any other prehistoric life, feel free to email me at dinocris71@gmail.com, or otherwise go on the Facebook page, Prehistoric Facts with Dino Chris, like the page, and also you can post your questions on any Facebook post in the comments section. That's where I like to see the questions be on, is the comments section. That way it's easier for you guys to actually write the questions, and also you don't have to write on the wall of the page. So that way, so that everybody can see. So, and also you can follow me on Twitter at basically @ CSGRALL. That's basically my Twitter page. You can follow me there. I post some pretty cool stuff, and we'll actually get the first answering questions episode of of Prehistoric Facts for 2015 on a good start, and like to see a few questions about anything about prehistoric life. All right, that's it for now, and I'll see you guys next Saturday.